My wife's movie club watched Encanto, the 2020 Disney film. To me, this film is about growth and change. The story illustrates sometimes change can be forced on us by external or internal conflicts. The story also illustrates our own hesitancy to change. The elements of growth are not always pretty, as the film first illustrates with Pedro and Abuela Alma Madrigal. The film starts with them fleeing from the village due to a war that is raging. Pedro is killed, but Alma reaches out to God and the candle is filled with a magical power that repels the attackers. When I first watched it, I kind of thought it might be the spirit of the martyred Pedro that fills the candle. Whatever the explanation for the magic is, it fills Alma's candle. It builds the house and the valley to protect the family, which is gifted with magical powers. There are several ways to deal with conflict: fight, retreat, ignore, surrender. But no matter, there is a choice. The conflict has forced a response, and the response can change a person. And this is what the candle represents: the change in Alma Madrigal. She finds a new ability, a new strength, a magic, if you will, born of disaster that protects her and makes her strong. When Pedro dies, Alma loses her husband, making her a single mother with 3 small children to raise. And because of the magic, she is able to rise above the circumstances without outside help. She has grown in a way that now she can help others. Also, this growth is passed on to her family. They too are granted gifts that can help others. The house, or casa, is magic itself, and each member of the family is granted a gift when they turn the age of 5. They use this gift to bless themselves and the villagers. In my mind, these gifts are exaggerated versions of real life. For example, the 3 children of Alma are Juliet, Pepe, and Bruno. So Julieta, her gift is to heal through baking. I mean, this is a shout out to all those mothers that cooked, who fed their children chicken noodle soup when they were sick. This is the mother who shows love through food. Peppa controls the weather. She's an emotive person, and she's able to change her surroundings based on her mood. It seems like maybe a blessing and a curse. I mean, you can think about when she wants rain, does she need to be sad? When she wants sun, does she need to be happy? Those type of things. And then, of course, Bruno can see the future. He makes predictions that are often the ones no one wants to hear. He's like your conservative uncle, always telling the truth, always right, but no one wants to hear it. And now Julieta has 3 children, Isabella, Louise, and Maribel. Isabella, you could say, is the one who has the green thumb. She is the one who uses her gift to make plants grow, flowers grow. You could also say she is a representation of beauty and perfection. It is important to know that Maribel and Isabella do not get along, and that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Luisa is super strong. She does all the heavy lifting. And then finally we have Maribel, who is the main character, who did not get a door or gift at age 5, and she definitely has gifts. But the film tells us they're not magical in the same way that the other members of the family are magical. Now, Peppa, she has 3 children as well. There's Dolores, who has super hearing. This is your relative who's a good listener. There's Camilio, I think it's pronounced, and that's kind of a play on words because he's the entertainer. He can shape shift in other people, other appearances. And then Antonio, he is an animal lover, and he talks to animals. And then, of course, Bruno, who we talked about, doesn't have any children. He's been missing. We skip forward and find out the house is crumbling, the magic is dying, and while Maribel is seeing this occur, the others are either not seeing it or are not willing to talk about it, even though we know that they know about it and they're feeling the effects. So the film takes Maribel on a journey. First, she talks to Luisa, who is strong on the outside, but she's full of fear and anxiety because she knows too that the house is falling apart. She's felt weak, and she is under extreme pressure, as her song says. When you look only at superficial things like appearance, race, or color, or see inequality without looking at the behaviors that lead to them, then you are just looking at the cover. You need to read the book within to find out what is really going on. When we see past someone's presentation, we can see they are growing as well. Maribel learns that Luisa's strength cannot be stagnant, it needs to grow. Despite her appearance and her gifts, she must overcome obstacles to grow in her life. Luisa is also a reminder that we should challenge ourselves. always think about growth, and never be satisfied to the point of stopping or being complacent. Then Maribel goes and talks to Bruno. Bruno represents our hesitation to talk about unpleasant things. His predictions all seem so negative, and no one wants to acknowledge. The song We Don't Talk About Bruno, where they talk about Bruno, illustrates Bruno only tells us the bad things. One prediction Bruno makes is that someone's goldfish is going to die. This is not a great revelation. We could have all predicted that. So it's not like he's saying strange things that we would never think of. It's just that people don't want to hear it. We also notice that when they are talking about Bruno, they cast him in the worst possible light, as if to persuade us not to grow in understanding. Maribel helps and learns from Bruno to look past the predicted struggles and obstacles, the bad stuff, and look even further into the final result. Sure, the night is dark, but light comes in the morning. When growth is the topic, we might only see the obstacles and responsibilities or other potential problems, but we should be prepared and know that growth requires us to get through these challenges. Not to be avoided or ignored, but to be overcome and conquered. When bad things happen, and they will, we can find our magic candle by choosing to reach out to God, who makes beauty from ashes. And through the process we grow instead of withering. Like a child leaving home to go to college or to work somewhere, this is not always easy, but by looking beyond the challenge to the eventual reward, we can see the journey is worth it. Which brings us back to the house Madrigal. This house is like a planted pot, the tree growing beyond the capacity of the pot. The tree must be uprooted and planted in a bigger pot, or in the ground in order to let the tree to grow. When we change our lives, it's like pulling out the old foundations and laying new ones. This can make us feel lost, adrift, and not sure of our future. But in the end, if we are growing, it will be a better foundation. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. On the last part of Maribel's journey, she meets with Isabella. She has always struggled to get along with the so-called perfect Isabella. Isabella, though, teaches Maribel that growth means change. There is no use to hang on to the past and trying to keep everything the same. Growth also means new possibilities, new experiences. Isabella creates new plants that are differently beautiful, but her plants don't steal the beauty from the flowers and other plants, but complement them and enhance them. Some growth will replace the old, some will renew the old. And Isabella teaches Maribel, just like Luisa and Bruno did, that change and growth is needed. We all face challenges that require a response. We can't be stagnant and maintain what we have, for it is fleeting. Growth can be scary and hard, but it is worth it. And change and growth is a way to renew your magic, enhance your experiences, and discover new possibilities. The house had to be taken down and be rebuilt with a renewed magic. The final song tells us about the caterpillar who breaks the chrysalis to become the butterfly. And we see Maribel's door isn't to a private room, it is to the whole house, the house that can now continue to allow for a growing and developing family. Encanto is a film about change and growth. It doesn't really show us a lot of failures or, recovery from failures. It also doesn't warn us about the dangers of changing for the worse. However, it does encourage us to grow, to be better, and to not fear learning new things, learning to love those we find difficult, and seeing beyond the uncertain, beyond the darkness and the painful experiences to the light that can await us if we make it through to the other side. I don't think this film is about changing who you are into something you are not, but to tell you you're not finished, to recognize that you have to keep moving forward and progressing, growing, and developing. It may be hard, or you may not understand why, but you should choose to learn, forgive others, and be better every day. I have only seen this movie once, so I might have missed a lot, and I thought it was a smart film. The music for me is an acquired taste. Maybe it grows on you. Overall, an enjoyable movie. Tell me your thoughts below, and thanks for watching.
Oh, your sister! That's great! Every time.